Wouldn't it be great if you could sit down with an email expert and have their opinionated view on things like creating a template, how to send emails, or other parts of your email flow? Well, today you can with 3 new agent skills by Resend called React Email Skills, Resend Skills, and finally, Email Best Practices. And today I want to show them to you. What are agent skills and why are people so excited about them? Well, they're a way to do what we all want, to give our AI agents expertise in an area. However, they do it importantly by preserving context. By default, when you give your agent a skill, it reads only the name and the description. This allows you to know what the skill does, but not invoke it or read the rest of that into your context. When it needs that skill, it can read the rest of the file to know how to basically perform that action. And when needed, it can actually go and find reference files referenced in the skill to get yet more context. But again, importantly, it only grabs that context when needed, so your context window stays as small as possible. And when you get the skill, you get the full expertise, the opinionated view on how to do a certain thing. So today, let's look at all 3 of these. We're going to look at React Email to compose an email. We'll look at the Resend skill if you happen to be using Resend to send emails and our best practices, the way we like to set up email. And then finally, a more general email best practices that kind of looks at the whole microcosm of your email system and helps you improve on deliverability and make sure that you're testing things properly. Okay, so let's do that kind of one after the other. And I've got this sample project and it's actually working. If I come over here and do Chris at resend.com and I join the waitlist, it will actually add the person to my waitlist in Resend. In fact, I can see it right over here, Chris at resend.com. Okay, cool. So it is working properly. Now what I want to do is create an email template so that when somebody signs up for my waitlist, I can send them an email template that actually looks styled and according to my brand. So let's do that next. Now, to show the difference, what I want to do is use an agent skill in one of them, and I actually have this other section here where we're not going to use an agent skill. So let's use Claude Opus 4.5 on both of them. That way we have kind of a fair fight. So let's use the same prompt for both of these, create an email template using React Email, and then I tell it where my logo is. So that's the one without an agent skill. Let's now move over to the one that will have an agent skill. Now, I've actually already added the Resend skill and the best email practices, but let me show you how to install React Email just so you know how to install these skills as well. So here I'll do npx skills add and React Email like this. Now this uses Vercel's skills package to install these. Now it will clone the repository and find the skill. In this case, it's found the single skill I have here. And then I can either install it to a bunch of different agents like Codex or Cursor or wherever else I happen to be using it. In this case, I'm just going to use Claude Code because that's what I am using. And then I'll install it locally in this project and we'll symlink it and install the skill. Now you can actually find all your local skills here under your .claude folder and under skills. So you see I've got all 3 of these. I've got the Resend one, the React Email one, and then the best practices. So now I have all these skills ready to be used. With the skill installed, in this version, let's add the exact same prompt, except we'll tell it to use the Resend skill. So here, once again, I'll say to create an email template using React Email, and then I'll say React Email like this. Now, importantly here, you're going to see that it actually searches for that skill. It will load the skill and read it so it knows how to do things. Now, even if it doesn't get it right, here's the best part. It's got access to additional context. So if we find that we don't like the style, I can ask it to improve upon the styling, and then it will read that style.md file to get a little bit more context and know better how to style it for me. All right, so here I am in the one without agent skills. You'll notice it does say, hey, you could use this with Resend. I already have it installed on the project, so it's good that Claude figured that out. However, I'm not really sure how to get this thing started, so we can look at the code in a second. If I come over here, it's done the same thing in the one with the agent skills, except it's also added this script so I can do npm run email dev. So let's go ahead and do that over here. And then let me check over here with the no agent skills package. You'll see that I have a package that's been modified by adding React Email, but I have no script here. I just have an emails folder. So I have to actually go look up in the docs, figure out how to run this thing. It's not too hard. So I can add this manually as well. So let's actually add the same command email dev so that we can actually run this as well. So back in the terminal, let's run npm run email dev on the one without agent skills. So already you can see that the setup process is easier with an agent instead of without, but let's actually look at the results. All right, so on the left here, I have the one done by the agent, and on the right, I have the one done without the agent. So let's look at that one first. And you can see it does work, kind of, sort of. The logo isn't showing, but it looks okay overall, which is great. You can even go to mobile, you can look at the code. All this works for us just fine. Okay, let's look at the one with the skill. You see, it does look a little bit better, and it's actually using my logo and knows how to reference all of that. All right, great. So we had a better experience with the agent setting it up, and also the end result looks better. But here's where it really gets better. If you want to improve upon the template, you can just prompt Claude and hope it does its best, or with an agent and all the expertise, it will go read additional context. So let's do that just to see what it looks like. I'll say use the React email skill to improve the styling, and then give it my 3 key colors. The agent will see the request, know that I'm wanting additional styling, and then it can grab additional context from the skill to read in a bunch more about styling. So it says it's done. Let's jump back over here, and that looks significantly better. You can see it's actually using my styling. The logo kind of fades into this back area. And again, this is following best practices based on the skill. All right, hopefully they gave you a sense of just how powerful it is to send it with a skill. Now, we're not going to keep comparing as we go, but let's next use 2 other skills, the Resend skills and also the best practices skills. So we're going to stick in the repo that has these skills, and we'll just build it out, getting the benefit of the skills there. So I've just simply told it when someone signs up using the waitlist, send them an email using Resend, use the Resend skill. So notice it'll actually read the send email skill, that's our Resend skill, and set this all up the way we would tend to do this. Now, you don't always have to invoke this skill. I did here because I find it's more predictable when you invoke it because it almost always goes and looks for that. Okay, so it says it's done. It says it's imported the welcome email template. After adding the contact at the audience, it sends the welcome email. It will prefix it by the name, whatever it happens to be, since I don't have a name I'm capturing here. And then look at this, it includes an idempotency key. Now, this prevents duplicate emails, and it's not something that you would likely add if you didn't read our documentation, but it is best practice. And notice that the Resend skill added it automatically. Now, one more thing to note here, it's telling us to update the from address from this onboarding one to my own verified domain in production. Now, again, this is something that you can look up in our documentation. In fact, if you try to send somewhere else, you'll receive an error. You can figure that out, but isn't it nice that the expert knows? Now, I actually have my verified domain as an EV variable, so let me add that now. That's just the resend from email right here. Okay, so that should be ready to go. Let's actually test out the flow as well. I've got the dev server running again. I'll do chris+1 at resend.com and click join, which means it should both add it as a contact and send me a confirmation email. If I jump over to my audience, you'll see here, yep, chris+1 at resend.com. That's great. Let's see if it sent an email. And yeah, it did right here. And you'll notice that it sends my actual email. Now you'll notice here, because I'm in dev referencing a local file, it can't find this, but it does actually reference all the rest of this. Very easily, it's actually set this up with idempotency. Everything I need to know, told me to change out the from address. And all of this is because it's got that expertise on its side. Now, there would be more we could do with the Resend skill to scan our repo and make sure that we're following all the best practices, but already you can see the benefit of having an agent on your side that has a bit of expertise. It doesn't have to go and bloat its context with searching the web and hoping it finds good information. You've got the expert there with you. Okay, so instead of using the Resend skill though, let's use that final skill, the email best practices. The best thing here is even if you're using a different email service provider, you can use this to get the best deliverability tips to kind of look at your email flow from a macro perspective. Okay, let's look at that now. I'll simply ask if there's anything I can improve and then tell it to use the email best practices skill. Now, once again, it will actually read the skill, email best practices. It'll read additional files. In fact, I can see this. You'll see it reads all the different resources it needs: email capture, transactional email, sending reliability. All this it reads into its context because it feels like it needs it and asks what we would like it to do. So here are the improvements. It says there's no email validation. That's a good thing to add. The email send can fail silently, and there's no retry logic. There's no rate limiting, so this could be used for spam. And then it has a generic error message. So again, you can see how this just says, hey, if I was building out an email structure for my app, I would think about things like retries and error handling and how those messages come across. And all this is baked into the email best practices skill. So notice it's added that server-side validation, separated out error handling, added non-blocking email sending for email failures that are logged but don't cause the signup to fail, and then a better UX for duplicates. So like already on the waitlist, for instance. On top of that, it's actually given me some suggestions for production like rate limiting, CAPTCHA, webhook handling. And again, all of this is kind of out of the box just using the skill. Now, I should mention all of these need to be living documents. We're constantly improving them as people use them. So as you use them, if they don't give you the results you're expecting, let us know and we'll update the expertise to make sure we handle that edge case. Well, thanks so much for watching. I hope this gives you a sense of how powerful skills are to have an email agent on your side when you're composing your app. Well, thanks so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy emailing.